I've always had I've been the youngest one in every class I've been. Um, I always felt like I was out of place. I was never fitting as good as other people are. Like obviously this is just in my head, but it was always like something I could not control was happening to me, and I felt like I could not do anything about it. I was always like, this thing is happening in my life, but I don't know what to do with it, and I just ignored it, and this kind of translated itself into me not taking full action or full responsibility in conversation. Like I would not be able to look people in the eyes. I would always stare down. My parents actually got me tested for this. They went to, or I went to, how do you call this? Behavioral psychologist or whatever. Somebody that's actually familiar with the different um, behavioral traits that certain types of people have. And I think I was like 12 or 13 or something. And I did all these tests and I filled them in, whatever. It doesn't really matter the solution. And they were like, oh, okay, you have Asperger's syndrome. And since then, they're always like, oh, you're that guy. Or like, they wanted to label it like, oh, okay, it's just because he's this kind of autistic person that he does these things. But for me, it didn't really change much if I knew it or not. It's like, okay, now I can use it as an excuse, I guess, but it doesn't change my situations. Like, I'm still gonna be uncomfortable talking to people. I'm still gonna be struggling with eye contact, and in the end, it didn't do much for me. Like my parents were very relieved. Oh, okay, now we know what's wrong with him, I guess. But for me, it was like, yeah, I'm still the same guy. What I'm gonna do with it? So I actually started working on this. I started forcing myself to make eye contact with people. Um, Even now, sometimes I feel like I make too much eye contact and I actually stare at people. It's like a game sometimes for me. Like I'll stare until it makes them uncomfortable, and then I know like, at least I'm not the one looking down first. And it's not about making them uncomfortable. It's probably the side effect, but it's just about me making myself more secure. And it's probably an insecurity I haven't dealt perfectly with yet. But yeah, that was something I had too, and I think this one is maybe more in the identity category. Like I was not confident with who I am, what I was standing for in life, what I was thinking about, what my thoughts were, if people were interested in that. I I guess I kind of minimalized my own impact or my own vision on life and how people, like I always thought like my vision didn't really matter or my perspective of something didn't really matter. I felt like other people knew better, and that's I think where it kind of started for me to be really introspective, and I think it opened a lot of doors for me to analyze the behavior I have myself. Like I'm very aware of what I'm doing. I'm very in line with what I'm doing. I would say I would not do something totally out of character or something. Maybe this one is a bit out of character, but obviously I'm trying to change and be a bit more open and try new things, see what I like. Kind of liking this right now, just like an open diary, it seems. Diary. Um, so for me, it was not really about being insecure. It was more about accepting who I'm. I guess it's the same thing, but accepting who I am and try to improve the obvious flaws that I have. Like don't looking in the eye. It's something you cannot really. It's a skill you need to have in life. Like if you can never look somebody in the eye, you will never have a good appearance. That's just how it is, and you can spin it whatever you want. It's not gonna change the fact that people will not see you in the same or hear you in the same light as other people that are able to look you in the eyes. So I think for me that was a big insecurity that I had to overcome. And yeah, like I said, I don't know when I overcame this, but along the way I just started challenging myself to look people in the eye, talk about my feelings, say what's wrong, why I don't like it, and just be honest with myself. I think a lot of good things that happened to me started with me being honest to myself. Like, okay, I fucked up. Okay, I'm not good at it. Okay, I'm good at that. You can also acknowledge the good things about you, and people don't do that often enough. I think one being introspective or reflecting on yourself, to actually acknowledging what is going good and what's going bad with themselves. Look at yourself for a day or go for a walk and just think about, how did I handle that situation? If something bothers you, if something is on your mind, just look at first, like in your perspective again. That's the POV you have. Like, what did I say? What did I do? How was my body language? Um, when did the person or people actually kind of shifted? Like, you can have a nice conversation and all of a sudden it goes totally wrong, and you're like, wait, what happened? I don't even remember doing something. And then after a while you get like, maybe that question was really weird when I asked it, and then you can go forward from that. Like, okay, maybe this question is not a good time to ask something like that to a person, especially in dating. Like, there's so much to learn from yourself and also from others, but mainly I would say the biggest thing about dating is being confident about yourself, knowing what you like, what you're looking for, what your interests are, and expressing those. Like, people love talking about yourself for once, but also love um, hearing about people that are excited about something. Like, if a friend is excited about a promotion or a new job that he got, like, tell me all about it, like, what are you gonna do? What is the next thing? Where do you see yourself going? How much are you earning? Like, it's all, they can be shallow questions, but people like to be excited about something, and other people like to see that. Like, obviously your family will always be excited if you are excited. Like, that's what they do for you. Like, they are there for you in the times that you are excited, and they will be there in the times for you that when you're not excited. So be just completely honest with yourself, and then you will only improve. And then the second step to this insecurity. So the first step is looking at yourself. The second step is looking through the eyes of the other person. What did they say? How did they react? How would they feel if I said that? Maybe they also have these insecurities that they don't like to talk about. They will also say certain things they don't think it's necessary, or whatever, that they don't feel like sharing with you, and you don't know about these ones. You can only know what they tell you, but there's so much more to a person than what they're saying. That's where body language is very important. Like, if you're making somebody uncomfortable, you can tell it very quickly. Like, just stop the conversation, and you're making this person uncomfortable, or change the direction of the conversation. It's just no-brainers. At this point, I guess, like, I hope everybody that is listening at my age knows these things. Like, you don't want to, yeah. You should be able to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else and see the conversation or the topic or whatever through somebody else's eyes. But yeah, maybe I'm going a bit off track here. So that was one of the looking insecure. I think this was kind of identity, kind of insecurity, identity.